when I started thinking I want to work for Sony, I wanted to maybe be a Sony ambassador one day, because I just like the products and I thought it would sound pretty cool, honestly. That was one of my main reasons. So I started taking steps actively to try to work towards that goal. And fast forward about 2 to 3 years now, I finally made my first webinar with Sony, hopefully more to come, and it's actually live right now. And I want to tell you a little bit more about how I did that and how I didn't think it was actually possible, but I kept taking these small steps that made it possible. I was told by some of my mentors actually that you are not gonna be able to work with Sony. Why would they choose you over the thousands of other photographers? And there was some truth to that, and it did come from a good place, but I did want to still give it a try and kind of go for it. So here's what I was doing. So I was trying to think about what unfair advantages do I have, and it's okay to use that unfair advantage. I met this really big YouTuber in Mexico, and he was from Switzerland, and he was teaching English, and he was very successful, and he was literally living in a hotel for a living. And he told me, you have to work on your unfair advantages. Everyone has unfair advantages, and you have to utilize that. And it's okay to utilize that. I started thinking, what are some unfair advantages that I could have or I could provide? And I was thinking one of them might be that I do speak Arabic, that I am from Egypt. So I was going to Egypt, and before I was going to Egypt, I started reaching out to all the photographers that were kind of like big in the industry. And actually, one of the people on my Arabic YouTube channel helped me by sharing some accounts of people who are like bigger in the industry or kind of known in the photography world in Egypt. And I reached out to all of them just to get to meet them and talk to them and connect with them, because I do actually love photography. I love connecting with other individuals who are photographers. Every time I'm in New York, I meet incredible people just through having that common passion. So at the very least, I knew I was going to meet incredible people and make amazing friends. So I kept reaching out to all these people, and I attended all these events. And in one of those events, I met some people. I actually got invited back to be a guest speaker at a workshop in a safari 2 months after I got back. It was a lot, but I was thinking it's worth it. It's an opportunity that I really wanted to do, and also to be able to give back to the community in Egypt, and also to be able to go on a safari and kind of get paid. The payment was not obviously enough to cover my flights or anything, but I just went for it. And while I was going, I reached out to another venue, and I made this workshop about photography and psychology. That's a massive passion of mine. And it's also somewhat of an unfair advantage, because I minored in psychology and astronomy, and I majored in computer engineering in school. So I was thinking, how do I use that to my advantage? It's kind of a natural passion of mine to talk about the world of photography and how it intersects with psychology. So I pitched them the workshop, and they were happy to host. So I had a blast. I met more incredible people, and eventually the people at that venue connected me to the people in Sony Middle East and Sony Egypt. And I had another trip I was going on where I was invited to do a photo shoot with a research at Yale University. And I also wanted to go to Senegal to visit my friend. I thought about pitching it to the people at Sony, and I did. And I told them, here's what I could do, here's what I can offer. And I went with the intention purely of offering value. And that's the thing that I think a lot of people kind of miss out on, is not thinking about what kind of value do you have to offer. Work on being valuable, work on giving that value, and work on your unfair advantages. That's an advice I guess I'm kind of telling to myself and anyone who is curious to know kind of more of my mindset towards this, because it really is incredible to me that after 2 years or so of just kind of enjoying the process, working, taking these baby steps, taking these little lessons from all kinds of people, I eventually actually managed to achieve something I was kind of dreaming about, which is working with the brand that makes the camera. Throughout this whole process, I've been dealing with a lot of imposter syndrome. I meet these people who have been shooting for 10, 20, 50 years even, and they make me feel like, oh, I haven't been in the industry long enough to do something like this. And of course, Some of them directly would tell me you can't do this, or they wouldn't choose you, or you have to be a photographer for a longer time. Having the validation from the manufacturers of the camera that made me fall in love with this art is an incredible boost to my confidence. I honestly feel very proud of myself and very honored and very lucky also. I think there's an element of luck for sure in there, but the more you try, the more you increase your value, the more you play on your unfair advantages, and the more you're consistent and the more you enjoy it, the more lucky you will be. I'm okay with failing as long as I know I gave it my all and I did everything I could. So with that thought process, it's a lot harder to just give up and not do anything. I'm just proud of this, and I want to hopefully encourage someone who's watching this to kind of go for it and just try and work on adding more value to their art and follow their passion. I'm not saying someone should quit their job and go full time doing their passion or whatever, but just kind of planting these seeds and nourishing these seeds and adding water to these seeds. If you have any questions for me or any specific topics you want me to cover on anything filmmaking or photography, let me know in the comments down below. And yeah, I'll see you next week. Peace.